Dougie Hamilton, who was scratched the night before, and it was such a notable scratching that J.P. Barry, who's one of the biggest agents in the entire game, decided to make a statement about it, and then Tom Fitzgerald then had to respond to that statement. Dougie Hamilton's stat line last night: 2 assists, 2 blocks, +3, 19 minutes of play time in a 5-2 win over a very good Minnesota team. They responded.
And who do they have?
Kaprizov and Hughes and
Quinn Hughes. Yeah. We don't need you. Come on, Devils fans, let's get it going.
Steve, you also called exactly what happened in terms of
I couldn't believe
the scratching. It was unbelievable. And you want to re-explain that?
Yeah. So Dougie Hamilton was a healthy scratch, and his agent JP Barry was very upset about it. And I was like, all right, let's get him back into the lineup, but you have to scratch Simon Nemec, who is also J.P. Barry's only other client on the Devils. And then they did.
That's what happened?
The second the show ended, they announced
So it's like, where's the statement for him?
I think they should announce it.
They should.
We haven't gotten enough statements in the last week in the NHL. We need more, actually.
But, like, that's the performance you want after a scratching, right? Like, that's what they're asking Dougie Hamilton to do is, hey, rebound, show up, do everything you can.
So we can trade you.
Yeah, so then we can move you eventually. But it's good for him. Good for him for not, like, pouting, in his play.
Yeah. Well, what kind of a morning are we waking up to today in New Jersey if they lost that game? Because it's Quinn Hughes, and that would be their 5th straight loss. And Sheldon Keefe on the hot seat, Tom Fitzgerald specifically on the hot seat.
I think it's Tom Fitzgerald's fired.
Okay, now let me.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Because
No.
I don't know that New Jersey's gonna. I'm with you. I don't know if New Jersey's gonna do anything.
I think it'll be like if towards the end of the season thing, if anything. They seem to be really stuck in their ways with Tom Fitzgerald.
They do, but Devils fans seem to be stuck in their ways about being from New Jersey.
You can't make personnel decisions based on the fans. Nobody would survive anything.
You sure can.
Want to bet?
Well,
listen,
Brian Burke did that one time.
If their home game, I think it's tomorrow, goes poorly, fans are going to make it difficult on them, right?
But you can't react to that.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a reason you are paid to do your job and not just listen to what the fans want.
It's true. Well, in this case, it's not someone being paid to do a job. This is just ownership's decision to gas a guy or not, right?
Right. And I'm not agreeing that he should keep his job. I actually think he should be fired, but I don't believe that they think that.
Here's one thing that I think is just undeniable. Whether Fitzgerald gets fired or not, someone with the authority to make moves in New Jersey has to make them. This cap situation is ridiculous. The Dougie Hamilton situation is ridiculous. You have too much money on the books. Palat scored last night, which was also hilarious.
Had to.
Everyone who they need to perform well so that they can trade them performed well last night. But at some point, get on with it.
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you guys this, because I think it's pretty clear that the Palat and Hamilton contracts blocked New Jersey from having the cap space to bring Quinn Hughes in. Everybody kind of knows that, right? Palat has not worked out. I think the body's probably just breaking down at this point. He's also known as a playoff guy, and they haven't gotten very far in the playoffs.
He's played a ridiculous amount of playoff games.
And been hurt a ridiculous amount of times. Dougie Hamilton, all of his advanced stats are still pretty good. Maybe he's not a $9 million guy anymore, but he might be a 7.5. And, the offense hasn't been there until last night this season, but last year it was. I don't think he forgot how to play hockey, but here's how those two guys apparently became Devils. Are you ready?
This is fascinating.
Have you heard this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the first thing is the Devils analytics group, that works for Tom Fitzgerald, recommended highly against signing Andre Palat, but Fitzgerald overruled them a few years ago and signed him. And so now he's stuck with that deal. The Hamilton contract is a little more interesting, and this is where it gets into how much of this can you lay at the feet of Tom Fitzgerald, because it was ownership that stepped in and said, you need to sign Dougie Hamilton and you need to do it now. And I remember when that contract was signed, everybody was like, that doesn't seem to fit the window quite yet. I mean, we didn't know how good Jack Hughes was going to be at that point. But it was a different. It was a sort of like, that's odd. Okay.
I remember being a bit surprised.
Yeah,
Yep.
Not that he's not a great defenseman and it doesn't help a team, but we were just kind of like, really at this stage.
That's the group.
That's the group. So if you're ownership and you're going, okay, well, Fitzy He made a mistake on a $6 million contract. That's roughly 5-6% of the cap next year. Are we that upset about it? We were the ones that wanted Hamilton, and we were the ones that pushed him to get him. Can we lay that at our general manager's feet?
So that is actually a really interesting take on it, because there's been lots of justification for why Tom Fitzgerald should lose his job, and I've been saying it. But if their biggest quote-unquote mistake or their biggest financial hurdle right now is one of their own creation, it kind of sucks to gas a guy for that. Very interesting take.
It happens all the time, by the way.
Yeah,
Sure.
Owners do that all the time. This is
Sorry.
you.
Bye.
You signed it. Sorry, it's your name on it. But yeah, and I just think like I do feel like I think Palat is staying. There's no question about that. You got to keep that guy, unless I haven't looked at a buyout calculator on Puckpedia, but it feels
The
like
contract's unmovable.
So it's unmovable. You
Yeah,
can't move it.
in my mind.
So you can't
I
move
think
it. You probably can't buy it
He's
out.
going to find a way to end up on the Lightning, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I could see them paying assets to get rid of it. Like,
Would
that
you?
could be a thing.
I mean, it would really help them. But do you not
Yeah.
think that they would have
Shark.
to retain, right?
Yeah, they've gotten rid of the double retention in the trade,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
that makes it even more difficult. But if you can retain a little, somebody will take him because he's still a player
Sure.
that can.
At $3 million, you would take him.
Yeah,
But he's a
yeah.
$6 million
It's just
guy.
not that cap hit right now. So
Yeah.
I shouldn't say they can't move that. They could find a way with creative cap maneuvering.
And I think, Jesse, that Tom Fitzgerald's future hinges on his ability to get out of this in terms of good timing and not saddling them with a ton of retained money. Because conceivably, let's say you're Hamilton's got at least 3 more years, and Palat does have 3 more years. If you're taking Hamilton from $9 million to say $7.5, that's $1,500,000 each of the next 3 years. Palat, if you were to retain 50%. Now that's $3 million on your books. That's 2 retention slots, $4.5 million, which probably gets you Bobby McMahon next year, if we're being honest about where the cap's going, right?
Jeez.
Considering Philip Broberg just signed for $8 million a season, it's kind of one of those things
I
where
was surprised by that.
that starts to really cost you. So if he's able to, as Jesse says, attach assets, retain less, maybe not retain at all, well, then all of a sudden this, then it's like, well, maybe Fitzgerald isn't so bad. And listen, I'm not as close to the picture as Devils fans are, but looking from the outside in, to me, those 2 moves are key to his future in New Jersey.
They're key, and even then the work's not done, right? Like Luke Hughes hasn't lived up to that contract at all.
Yeah.
And now, you get rid of Hamilton, now you got one of those deals instead of 2. Like, you still have a problem, right? The one thing that most Stanley Cup contenders and champions have in common is almost all of their guys pull their weight financially.
Right.
There's a few outliers, but for the most part, you get pretty good value out of your roster, and
Especially your depth.
Yeah,
and
talent.
find surprise money. Yep.
yeah, talent, toughness, discipline. Yeah. But it's a lot of a numbers game as well.
And seeing how the Luke Hughes contract has played out over the course of the last 3 months so far it's existed, I don't think there's an argument right now to say that they made that deal a little too early. That they should have definitely waited to see how this kid played out a little, and that contract's probably lower if you're giving to him right now.
Yeah.
And it was a mistake, I think, to give him that early without the resume.
Yeah, the one thing that we've seen in recent memory is young players just going, oh, and like all of a sudden he rattles off 60 points.
He had 43 last year.
Yeah, like it wouldn't shock me. 43 is a little ironic. That's a little on the nose.
It's funny. Sorry.
But yeah,
Somebody got
number
it.
joke.
That's Quinn Hughes' number. For anybody.
Yeah. I think it's Luke's too.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
well, there
it
you
is,
go.
yeah.
He still has lots of time to figure it out. He's so young, but like I said, giddy up. The Devils have a really weird window. You know what I mean? Like, they're young, old. You can't even call them in the middle because they don't have enough guys in the middle. They're just this combination of young and old.
I think the reason that Tom Fitzgerald has pressure on him is because their competitive window is right now, and the fan base and everybody doesn't think they're doing enough, right? Like, they're supposed to be competing for a Stanley Cup, and they're not doing that. And the expectations are the only reason that his job is on the line right now. If they were just a middling, rebuilding team, then nobody's concerned about Tom Fitzgerald.
I think Devils fans are sick of what we were sick of, watching your team struggle night in and night out, and then hearing Yeah, but we're trying to do stuff and we just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
then-
be able to do something.
And then
about
the
it.
Leafs are like assistant coach, and we're like, really? What's that gonna do? Virtually undefeated.
Right.
Like, you
doesn't-
gotta try something.
Well, and the Columbus Blue Jackets have yesterday a surprise firing. The Columbus Blue Jackets fired Dean Evison. He got there 18 months ago, guys. And Columbus had a great year last year on the heels of obviously the Gaudreau tragedy. And, a team that missed the playoffs by a point last season. I think we all forget that. There was
Really disappointing follow-up to a great story.
But they are, listen, right now they're 7 points out of a playoff spot. At this point in the season, 7 points starts to really stretch out and become a very tough number to swallow.
Last in the East, right?
Last in the East, last
The
place.
bottom of the Eastern Conference is starting to stretch out, too.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
no longer a picture where, everyone's in it. Blue Jackets might not be.
It's Blue Jackets and the Sens, but they believe in bringing in Rick Bowness, who's the second Winnipeg Jets coach in a row to retire and then immediately find work the next season. The first one being Paul Maurice.
Forgot about that.
He took time off.
Well, he took time off,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but he resigned.
He
right?
left for mental health reasons, take time
Yes.
off, and then
Rick
Yeah.
Bowness is 70 years old.
he officially retired.
Officially
And,
retired.
Yeah, they gave him his flowers. They put out statements and everything. He was done, and he can't escape the game.
What I love
He's
about
addicted to it.
Rick Bowness's first season as an NHL coach came roughly 5 months after Steve and I were born. We were born in consecutive months in October of 1988 with
Wow.
the Winnipeg Jets. So he just finished up with the Jets. That was a nice little completed circle. And then, of course, all of a sudden he's back and he's with Columbus. And they think, we've got the talent. We should be able to do this. I feel like I understand why you make a change, I guess, at this point. I do have some doubts about Columbus, say, turning it around and going on a St. Louis Blues 2019 run where they go last to Stanley Cup Finals.
They're a hard team to figure.
Because they have pieces.
They have pieces. They have talent. They have speed. They're still kind of young. I know goaltending's still a bit of a thing.
Elvis has been out for a little,
Yeah, well, and
now he's back. But
yeah.
Jet Greaves hasn't been great.
And I thought he was going to be excellent.
If only Adam Fantilli could play in Toronto every game.
Man, I saw his numbers the other day, and I was like, that's not like a 90-point player. He plays like it every time he comes here.
When it comes to Toronto, he does. Yeah, hat-trick every time, basically.
Yeah, no, and then you look down, and his non-Toronto numbers, it's just sort of a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Like,
is wild.
Like a pretty good guy, but
Blue Jackets fans will tell you, listen, Evison wasn't the right guy. You got Kent Johnson, who's a top 10 pick a few years ago, playing on the fourth line. Like, what are we doing here? This is their fifth head coach, I think, or fourth head coach since John Tortorella in 2021.
Okay, question for that number. Does Babcock count?
Yes.
Yes.
They hired him.
He was hired.
He was supposed to be their head coach. They
Met the
hired him.
Undefeated.
Well, yeah. 0 wins as well.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's, listen, look at a
Toronto
glass half
media.
full, man.
Yeah.
That's negative.
Do we blame Tate McRae?
Potentially.
If we're running down the list. Is
Uh,
it the curse of Cole Sillinger?
Yeah, because now,
Yeah.
listen, listen, it's not going well for Jack Hughes either. So, she's dating Jack now. But
she's transferred the curse.
that's right there. It is.